a break from the norm, I'm going to ask both you and Dillian exactly the same questions as we approach the rematch that many people have been waiting for.
Yeah.
As always, how are you?
All is well. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Why is it important for you to win this fight?
Like any fight, it's important to win. Every fight leads on to something. And it's not about just the stop-off, it's where you want to go in life, right? We all have these visions of where we want to be, so it's where I want to get to, and I need to get through in order to get to. So Dillian is an obstacle.
You're older, wiser, and more successful than when you first fought. What motivates you to continue?
My community, my family, myself, in terms of you kind of shrivel up when you stop learning. Or even elder people, I see like care homes where they still engage them in learning processes. Like, you kind of die when you give up. If you're still engaged in learning, challenging yourself, you're alive, you're feeling good. So yeah, that's what I like, is challenging myself day in and day out. Now it's hard as well when you're in camp and you're looking and you're seeing people living life, and it's like, boy, there's a whole other world out there. But what motivates me is the challenge every day that boxing presents itself to me. So yeah, as I said, when I started boxing, it wasn't just about, I want to be a good fighter, I want to be a champion. It's a lifestyle. It presents you with a half-decent lifestyle. Training, sleeping, eating good, keeping things simple. It's quite a good disciplined lifestyle, to be fair.
Am I looking at a future world champion, or is there another way you want to add another paragraph or chapter to your own legacy?
Yeah, you're looking at another world champion.
7 years is a long time. We
Yes.
already know what happened in the last fight.
Forget all that.
If you were to fight that version of yourself, how would it go?
Yeah, I'll be thinking this little aggressive motherfucker. Then I understand the elements of defense, and I understand, like, I know that pace he can't sustain that pace. Naive. It's a 12-round fight. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. This is 12-round boxing. You know, you systematically break down an opponent. You systematically break them down through they can't handle your output, like their heart rate's just spiraling out of control. You break their soul, you break their ribs, you break their face. Sooner or later, they'll give up or they get knocked out. So with the old AJs, what I'm saying is that he would probably start, boom, red zone, and I'd just be smart enough to pick him apart. I'll do, like, Klitschko could have done it to me, but he just weren't aggressive enough. But, like, do you know what I'm trying to say? It's like the old guard versus the new guard, or the new guard versus the old guard. Klitschko, you know, through his experience, it was a good fight, explosive. But, like, there was a period in that fight where, like, it was my soul that was fighting, like my spirit that was fighting. But that's what I would have done to the old AJ, made him fight with his spirit. But I'm too smart now. Boxing, remember, is about fundamentals. If a kid comes in the gym and has better fundamentals than someone that can bench press more, run further, sprint harder, who will win? The kid with better fundamentals or the kid that can run, bench press, eat more calories? The kid with more fundamentals. Back then, I was that's what they call me, CrossFit champion. They call me bodybuilder since I've started boxing, innit? But I've added fundamentals to the structure now as well, and it will all come together at the right time. I believe in it 100%.
When's the right time?
It's happening. We're in the process. I'm in Texas. We're grinding. So yeah, the time is now.
How have you changed as a boxer since 2015?
Smart. In heavyweight boxing, let's say you got a well, and there's only so many times you can go to it. Only so many times Jack can go up the hill. The thing is, when you're strong, big, it's easy to overlook the fundamentals, right? It's kind of like what's the story of the rabbit and the hare or something like that? Yeah, there's ways around winning, and I realize that there's only so many times a fighter can go to the well before there's nothing left. A fighter only has X amount of hard fights in him before his reactions slow down, his durability slows down, taking punishment affects your endurance. So I started realizing there's two different things. There's defining fights and there's defining performances. Do you know the difference between the two? A defining fight is one where I knock you down, you knock me down, I knock you down, you knock me down. I slash your eye, you cut my lip, you're bleeding, I'm bleeding, and after 12 rounds, we both got our hands in the air, but it takes us 4 months to recover. A defining fight is where I step in the ring, you trained your ass off to beat me, studied me, I nullify every one of your attacks, I control you, I give you a black eye, I walk out, no problem, I'm in the bar with my friends and family on a Sunday morning. That's a defining performance. And that's what I realized is the more I can have defining performances will preserve my body for the time I need a defining fight. 100% there's going to be defining fights. But you have to understand the trajectory of when to take those risks. And that's what happens as you get wiser. You learn the fundamentals. And I can dispatch of opponents much easier and smarter. Is there anything wrong with that? In my opinion, no. It just means that you're smarter, in my opinion. But from a general perspective, it looks like you're not as, it was the word tenacious, aggressive, as one used to be. But what's to say your defense hasn't got better, your footwork's better, or your controls are better now? That's what I mean. So that's how I've developed and I've become more experienced as a fighter.
You've both changed trainers. What are you enjoying the most about your new setup?
Setup or trainer?
Both.
Setup, back to basics. I had this philosophy where I was like, man, it was pretty basic at the start, but I had to rely on all of that. So I started seeing people doing slipping with noodle sticks, counter punching, 15 punch combinations. I'm like, yeah, I need some of that. So I kind of structured like an Alex Ferguson versus a throwing specialist and a free kick specialist, where someone could help me with my movement, someone could help me with my defense, someone could help me with my striking. So I formulated a team, which actually was the worst thing that happened in my career. So like, when I was looking around, I obviously needed to improve, but it wasn't from all these things around me. It was just, I was looking for it through one person, and with Derek, I found that. So that formulates the environment and the coach. It's just simple. Boxing is simple. And when you're getting the right information from the right person, you can understand it at a lot quicker rate, right? I could tell you something, but if you're not ready to receive that information, you just won't get it. Sometimes it feels like you're wasting your time, but sometimes like the parents when they're trying to tell their kids something and they just don't want to listen, but the cool kid from the area can speak to them and they, same message, but it's just who they receive it from. From Derek, I received the message loud and clear.
Outside of the ring, how do you want to be remembered?
This is the thing. I don't really have an interest in what someone's opinion is of me outside of the ring, because I never met a hater. So whatever someone thinks of me, why I say that is because people are going to approach you with love. People that envy you stand on the sideline. So how people remember me is irrelevant. It's just about how you approach me. That's what's important. I can't tell what people think of me. I don't really care. But it's just how, when you come into my space, that's what I care about. So as long as you respect me, not how you remember me, as long as you respect me, that's what's important.
When you're an old man, you're retired, and you're sitting down, reminiscing or re-watching fights with your son, how do you want him to feel when he looks at his father?
My dad was smart. My dad was smart. He wasn't dumb. My dad was real smart. Because my son's going to be educated. So he'll know, he'll understand the intelligence and the mindset I had while I was competing as a fighter, where a lot of these dimwits in the industry don't.
And you entered boxing as a teenager.
Yes.
It changed your life.
No.
How has boxing impacted your life then?
Yeah. Made me healthier.
Okay. Would you say the core fundamentals of boxing has impacted you From
the
personality or mental, or just you as a man?
Okay, when you say change my life, I felt like you was meaning such as like, let's say fame or
Okay, let's say
yeah. Let's
AJ
address.
without boxing, what's he doing right now?
AJ without boxing. God knows. Maybe bricklaying.
Would you have been happy with that life?
Yeah. This boxing is not something that is glamorous, you know. I think people have a real misunderstanding of what boxing really is, like camp, trenches. Like you talk about trenches, camp, like 4 sparring partners at you, like 4 times, 3 times a week, like hitting that heavy bag, like, and your coach is just sitting there looking at you like, what are you complaining about? Hit that. Like, it is not a game. Not a game at all. So yeah, it's tough, very tough. I would much rather probably be chilling at home with my family, working, living, yeah. But it's the challenge of boxing. I don't know what it is. It draws me back every day with a new passion. Every day with a new passion to learn, like challenge myself. Because do you know what it is? Throughout every obstacle boxing has presented, I've nearly overcome. May not have been straight away, but at some stage I've overcome the challenge. So yeah, I love it for that reason. Whereas I could have definitely had an easier path. One, not easier, everyone's got their challenges, but I think sports is like fine margins, right? Such fine margins. And if you want to win, you pay attention to every detail. So yeah, definitely like boxing's it's not for the faint-hearted.
You said you've overcome every challenge pretty much that you've
Like
faced in boxing.
personally.
So what challenges do you have left? Like,
Personally, how good can my jab get? How good can my defense get? How many rounds can I do in the sparring environment? How much rest do I need? Can I do 45 minutes on the heavy bag non-stop? 1 minute you work on your output, then you realize I need to work on my power punches. Then you realize I need to work on my combinations. Then you realize I need to kind of throw my right. It's just continuous. It's evolution, isn't it?
so is your challenge being a better version of yourself rather than another
Every day.
boxer in the ring?
Yeah, every day. That's what wakes me up. Well, not what wakes me up, but that's what drives me every day. I got my notes every day. I'm like, ugh. You know, people, as I say, when I took notes, people are, he took notes, he was reading his notes before the Usyk fight. Well, what else am I going to be doing? Watching Netflix. I'm about to go and fight. I'm reading my war strategy. This is war. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So yeah, I'm serious. Like, it drives me every day. Sometimes, as you said, I do wonder, man, you see it now, right, on social media, there's a life outside of boxing. I see them turning up. Me, I'm a party, like, what? I'm in the middle, dancing, and I'm sitting in that stinky bed, hot, midday, thinking like, but then it's that drive, like, yeah, I can actually get better at this, though, with boxing. It's quite sick. It's quite sick. It's a good challenge.
AJ,
Thank you, boss.
for your time, brother.
Appreciate
Appreciate it. Thank you.